Hello and welcome everybody to the latest episode of Anyone from the End Zone with your favorite host, King NPB. You know that's me, baby. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the Micah Parsons trade request, Jerry Jones's comments, Sterling Sharpe being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and what an honor it is to now have the Sharpe brothers be the first duo inducted into the Hall of Fame, and my 2025 WWE SummerSlam match rankings. Now, before we get into this episode, I want to take a brief moment to thank all of you guys, my subscribers, for being a part of the channel. We are on a quest to 12,000 subs, so please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, also, don't forget to leave a comment because I want to know if you guys agree or disagree with my takes. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. You're watching the latest episode of Anyone from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first topic of the day is the Micah Parsons trade request, where he personally put in a trade request to Jerry Jones after Jerry Jones came out earlier this week and made comments that if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here, and you can literally just get up and leave. Something along those lines. Don't quote me word for word. But since Micah has made that request, Jerry Jones has had a press conference basically during training camp to address the Micah Parsons trade request. Let's watch this video where he basically responds to Micah. Parsons.
Well, let's put it like this. Surely you guys have been around this stuff and know to recognize negotiation talk, that type of thing. And so that's where I put that.
So are you considering it?
I'm not. At this, the facts are that that's like anything else. I think the will of Micah, and that's just part of negotiation.
Would you ever consider trading?
Again, I don't really place that with any real seriousness. Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Did the request take you by
The old way it's said.
Did the request take you by surprise?
Again, that's negotiation. I've heard that so many times in my 30 years in the NFL about from not just players but agents, and of course we all understand contracts. We're under contract. That's what we're doing. We're looking at adjusting the contract, but we're under contract, and we're in camp, and that's the way the rules are set up. But that is old stuff, 30 years of old stuff. Some of these issues we're hearing about trading, hurt backs, all that kind of stuff.
When do you start negotiations with these people, Jerry?
This is the first time I've heard
Again,
Micah Parsons has a hurt back.
I've started negotiations in March.
With his agent?
I said I started negotiation in March, and I've negotiated double handfuls of contracts just like I did in March.
He thought it was
Again, are you asking me?
Yeah.
I started that in March. I visited with him in negotiation discussion.
The meeting was about leadership, not about his contract.
It's my answer. I was negotiating in March.
Aren't you surprised it's gotten to this point?
Not really at all. This is just negotiation.
Is there really
Him at all? Have you talked to him at all since?
Again, I sat with him at the Big 12 Conference Championship, sat with him at the Super Bowl. So Mike is easy for me to talk to, and we've had good talks, and we had a good talk regarding negotiation of the contract, the way I have many players. And I don't need to remind you, we've had some great players around here that wanted to renegotiate their contract. We didn't. Put it off to another year, and so that's where I am on it. But is any of the stuff that you hear in the process of a negotiation, you can imagine I should take that for whatever.
Do you expect him to be on the field week one?
Again, I don't want to talk about my expectations. Now, that is speculating, but I can speak to anything that's happened up until now, and that has no sensitivity.
Is it good to see him still at practice, though, even though he made that demand based out here?
I wish the back would get better.
He wish the back would get better. So the back is not.
Again, I just said I wish the back would get better so we could not have a hurt back.
You talk about 30 years of these types of scenarios. Is there really nothing different about this one from the other?
So pause. Before we continue,
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
So this is actually the first time I've heard about Micah Parsons having a bad back. This is the first time I've heard Micah Parsons has had a bad back. Other than that, realistically, Micah should have been paid. And usually when you're in a contract negotiation and you pay high-end people to do the contract negotiations, like an agent, the owner, the GM, whoever's responsible on the organization side to take care of those things should talk to the agent. Now, Jerry, in a way, is right. I think when it came down to, Dak's contract, it came down to, I think, Dak talking to Jerry Jones directly and basically telling him, what he wanted. And that kind of sealed up the deal when that contract was being negotiated. Jerry Jones is notorious for having his ego kind of stroked by his players and basically getting them to bend over backwards and just kind of not grovel, but like kind of just be like, hey man, can you kind of take care of me? That's just the way Jerry Jones likes to kind of do business. And Micah Parsons, even though he's shown by his actions, to be completely honest with you, like right now, he shouldn't even be practicing on the training camp ground, and he's doing everything you're supposed to do, to show that you're for that organization, that you love the organization, that you want to be a part of the organization, and they're not compensating him accordingly. I'll be real with you. I think he saw what Dak did, what CD did, what Ezekiel Elliott did, and saw how that came to the detriment of the team, and he doesn't want to put the team in that position. Now, with that being said, I feel like Jerry's kind of taking advantage of it because Micah is showing up. He is doing the right things to where if a contract doesn't get done, Micah could be franchise tagged for over the next 2 years. And Micah, the way that he plays, would warrant that. Now, here, let's continue watching this video and see what else Jerry has to say.
On it.
We're in good shape. No,
Potentially talking to other teams, and you said you don't want anybody that doesn't want to be here. Micah Parsons says he doesn't want to be here. How is that any different?
no different than a bad back.
What?
Did you decline to negotiate with the this year?
Oh my God,
Did you decline to negotiate with him last year, like he said?
with who?
With Micah last year?
With who? Micah?
Yeah. He said you wanted to negotiate last year, and you got.
I know you misheard me. I don't think we got any negotiations last year. Closest thing to last year was March of this year when we had a good negotiation.
He said you wanted to talk before last season. Do you recall anything about that?
Well, again, it could very well be. It's what he wants, and so that could cover a lot of ground.
When he put out the note yesterday saying he'd ask for a trade, did that make you angry?
Not a bit. Not a bit. I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I've heard that negotiation.
Jerry, what do you think all the fans chanting his name and kind of supporting him and, hearing them all screaming out there?
It was just so much louder last year walking off this field with Lamb.
Have you talked to Micah in the last 24 hours?
No.
Do you plan on getting with him
Again, I don't get into what my plans are at all.
Do you think this relationship is salvageable?
I think the relationship is what it is. It is what it is. What it is. Period. Whatever what it is. Well, it's our relationship. I sat with him at the Big 8 to Big 12 championship. I sat with him at the Super Bowl. I I'm like Michael.
So for you, yours says change. It's always in the past me, y'all do these negotiations. So when you had, and it always usually ends with the player you want and the contract and a good number.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up. It seems like that we forget that it's been less than a year, and I paid the highest been paid in the NFL to Dak, and I paid a big price for Lamb. And anybody that says I'm not interested in financially rewarding my players hadn't been looking at the tea leaves. And so there's always negotiation, and the
But that, in my opinion, is the issue here, right? Because we know you're going to give Micah the money. We know you're going to basically give him the deal that he wants. Why do you have to make him kind of grovel for it? I'm not going to go through the entire 16-minute video because it's just a lot of Jerry basically just saying the same thing, saying basically nothing. The relationship, I guess, is what it is. I guess the relationship with Jerry and all of his players is what it is. But in other terms, let's read part of this ESPN article where it basically covers Micah's portion, not necessarily Jerry's portion, like we kind of just heard right now in the video. Let me tee that up for you guys. Ooh. All right, here we go. So Parsons made his trade request public with a social media post citing, among other things, repeated shots from the organization. Unfortunately, I no longer want to be here, Parsons wrote. I no longer want to be held to closed-door negotiations without my agent present. I no longer want shots taken at me for getting injured while laying it all on the line for the organization, our fans, and my teammates. I no longer want narratives created and spread to the media about me. I had purposely stayed quiet in hopes of getting something done. Parsons was on the practice field Saturday, starting the workout less than 10 yards away from Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. However, for the first time in camp, he was not in his number 11 practice jersey and spent more time with quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers than with the defense during the drills. Ooh, note that. As the team went through some 11-on-11 work, Parsons sat on the grass underneath the perch, where Jones watches practice between the two fields. After practice, a loud chant of "We want Micah" broke out from the fans near the field. Jones said he has not spoken with Parsons since the request was made. Jones reiterated he and Parsons reached an agreement on a deal in March when they met in the owner's office. In his social media post, Parsons said the visit was supposed to be about leadership, and Jones turned it into the contract. Jones said Parsons took that offer off the table. Jones would not divulge specific details of the agreement, but made a reference to guaranteeing somebody almost $200 million in comments Saturday. Ooh, what y'all don't know is what I offered him, and it's a hell of a lot more than you think I did, Jones said. That's what you don't know. But my point is I reached. My point is I reached. Make no mistake about it, I reached. Okay, so he reached. Apparently Jerry Jones reached hard and offered him a shit ton of money, and Micah, I guess, didn't want to take it. But again, you should probably deal with his agent. Let's continue. Since Jones and Parsons met back in March, elite pass rusher Myles Garrett, 4 years, $160 million contract. Max Crosby, 3 years, $106.5 million. And TJ Watt, 3 years, $123 million, have signed extensions. Parsons is set to make $21.324 million this season on the 5th-year option. Without an extension this season, the Cowboys could use the franchise tag on Parsons from 2026 to 2028. That means that's about 2 to 3 years under the team's control. And if Parsons continues to play the way that he's played over the last few years, granted they still can't stop the rush, and granted there are games where Micah kind of just disappears. Micah will warrant like getting paid being franchise tagged the next 3 years straight if they can't come to an agreement. Micah is that kind of player where you franchise tag him every single year that he is available to be franchise tagged. Let's continue. Let's see. Parsons is set to make where is it? However, the last number would be at the cost of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Not for his position, but quarterbacks in the NFL. That's crazy. The Cowboys and Parsons' agent, David Mulgeta, have not had any talks about a deal. Jones mentioned that he has done contracts with star players over the years by the double handful. It's very important that that if you want to change the contract that we've got right now, which this would, that I agree to what we changed, Jones said. That's why it was so good when we sat down together and spent a lot of time going back and forth adjusting, and we had that exercise together in March. What about the agent? My experience has been the agent is not the one that solves the problems you have when you're executing what you said you would do in the contract, Jones said. So I like to deal directly with the player when it's of this nature. What? The Cowboys have a recent history of protracted negotiations when it comes to signing their star players. 2 years ago, future Hall of Fame guard Zach Martin missed the early portion of training camp looking for a renegotiated deal. Last year, CeeDee Lamb signed a 4-year, $136 million contract after missing the entire portion of camp in Oxnard. Dak Prescott agreed to a deal for $60 million a year hours before last year's season opener. Ultimately, however, all of those deals have gotten done. I'm really glad you brought it. You heard what he just said. Basically, that he's going to end up paying. With that being said, we all know Jerry's going to end up paying Micah. If he doesn't end up paying Micah, he could get a rant, like he could get a Brinks truck for Micah. Now, Jerry is not the savviest of deal makers, so if somebody could give him, I feel like somebody could give him a low ball offer for Micah Parsons, and Jerry might actually just end up taking it just to spite Micah and to spite the team. I don't know. Jerry Jones is the type of person that I see doing some weird stuff. With that being said, guys, this concludes my thoughts on the whole Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones trade contract negotiation saga. I think it's ridiculous Jerry hasn't paid Micah. In summation, I just think it's ridiculous Jerry hasn't paid Micah. Micah clearly wants to be a Cowboy. He's done everything as the franchise player, as the franchise star for the Dallas Cowboys, and for Jerry to be treating Micah Parsons, of all the players that he has on his roster, like this, in my eyes, is kind of ridiculous. And if Micah leaves Dallas, better for Micah. His Super Bowl winning chances go way up if he gets out of Dallas, in my personal opinion. Yeah, we'll be right back after these messages. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop, located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
I wanted to take a brief second to watch some of the Sterling Sharpe in Hall of Fame induction, just because I am a Shannon Sharpe supporter. And it is also notable that I think this is either the second or third brother duo, or no, I think this is the first NFL brother duo to make it into the Hall of Fame. If it's not the first, it's either second or third. But I think they are the first brother duo to make it into the Hall of Fame together. Sterling and Shannon, obviously, who waited years ago. And Sterling, I think, was the one that inducted him. But yeah, let's watch. Let's take a moment with everything that Shannon's been going through recently to like celebrate his brother, his family, and this great achievement, this great accomplishment. Here we go.
The football play is his signature. God has smiled on me. Every time I speak publicly, every time I get out of bed, every time I go to bed, I say this. This is my life. There are many like it, but this one is mine. There's a lot of reasons why these great players are able to sit and wear this gold jacket that I have. Some of them it's blood, some of them it's sweat. Jared said fear. I stand before you today as the 382nd member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame because of love. You see, you have to learn to follow before you can lead. And so when I started playing football, I had Coach William Hall that I could follow. Coach Hall didn't teach me how to catch or how to throw. He taught me how to pray athletically. He taught me that it was okay to pray for the health and the well-being of the opponent. He taught me that it was okay to pray that God help us play just like we practice. And he turned me over to Buddy McCall, who taught me how to trust in my abilities, how to believe what I saw, and to lean on my teammates as much as humanly possible. You see, I'm not going to bore you with talks at the University of South Carolina because, well, without them, unlike Antonio Gates, I had to go to college and play football to have a chance to stay here. So I'm not going to bore you in talking about them.
You got go.
Pesky commercials and ads. Jesus Christ. All right, let's go back to the action.
Joyous occasion. You gave me your ears when I wanted to vent humanly possible. You see, I'm not going to bore you with talks at the University of South Carolina because, well, without them, unlike Antonio Gates, I had to go to college and play football to have a chance to stay here. So I'm not going to bore you in talking about them. But I'm also saddened today on this joyous occasion. You see, when I say you have to learn to follow before you can lead, one of my tremendous leaders, my first position coach when I got to the Green Bay Packers, his name was Buddy Geis. And only Coach Hall was probably happier than him that I got selected to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Buddy lost his life July 2nd. His daughter Jenny, his grandson Jared are here. So if you get a moment, when you are headed to the parties or this festivity's over, take a moment and say a prayer for Jeannie and her family. Jeannie's a girl dad. So if you know what girl dads are, you know how brokenhearted she and her family are right now. And I want you to think about them, please. But Buddy Geis didn't teach me how to catch or to run a route. He reiterated the importance of family. He loved us enough in the right receiver room that he had us over to his house. We got integrated with Jenny and her brother Adam, his lovely wife Jerry. Buddy brought us into that. That's love. And after my time with Buddy Geist in Green Bay, he turned me over to Sherm Lewis. You have to learn to follow before you can lead. And what Sherm Lewis taught me was when I got into West Coast offense is to understand why we call certain plays. And when I was understanding the why, I was able under Sherm's tutelage to lead the NFL in catches, yards, and touchdowns. I didn't even know what that meant because I was learning from a guy who had coached the greatest receiver to ever play. Sherm Lewis loved me so much that he did me the biggest favor. He never mentioned Jerry Rice and he never mentioned me in the same sentence. So I never felt like I was in Jerry Rice's shadow. Well, Sherm, as our offensive coordinator, turned me over to a young, energetic coach named John Gruden. And what John Gruden taught me was probably the thing that took my game to its highest heights, and that was don't study defenses. Don't study defensive backs. Study other receivers. Under John Gruden's tutelage, I was tutored by John for 2 years. I never ran a route as me those 2 years. If Michael Irvin and the Dallas Cowboys played Pittsburgh, that week I was Michael Irvin. I tried to copy all his mannerisms. If Tim Brown and the Oakland Raiders played Kansas City that week and I was playing Kansas City, I was Tim Brown. You see, when you learn to follow, you'll find out how quickly you become a leader. Now, I didn't mention Mike Holmgren, and I didn't mention Brett Favre and Don Mikowski or Perry Kemp or some of my other teammates because you know what? When you're teammates, guess what? Nothing else matters but your family. And those guys, along with the Clarence Weathers and the Patrick Scotts and the Ron Hallstroms, were extremely important to my development.
Yo, these ads need a fuck kill, dog.
I know I talked about a lot of guys there, and I want you to know, I followed some extremely strong women. Mom, I followed you. You gave me life, which is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. But you gave me something else. You named me Sterling. And at the time, there weren't a lot of black boys in rural South Georgia running around, being able to lean on something other than a mother, a father, a sister, or brother. I could lean on my name. You loved me enough that you named me Sterling, and I felt like I wasn't different, but I had something I could go to. You gave me a sister, older than me, Liv. And you know, you and I, we went through a lot, old girl. And I tell you what, we came out a lot better. And you know what? I talked about like Shannon. Greatest day of my life for my sister. She gave her life to Christ. That's my big sister right there. Susan Ellen, you know I ain't here without you. Because you cooked, you cleaned, you dressed my rooms, you made sure I took my drugs when I was supposed to, you gave me your ears when I wanted to vent when I didn't have enough catches, and you told me to shut up when I had too many. I cannot thank you enough because being my friend, giving me the greatest gift I have ever received. Now, young lady sitting next to you, because Summer Olivia, when you were born, you let me know it was okay to let Shannon go, to be his own man. And that's what I wanted. I cannot thank you guys enough. My brother in 2011 talked about Mary Porter. My brother in 2011 talked about Barney Porter. I'm not going to bore you with that. Because, see, when I tell you that you have to learn to follow before you can lead, and the only reason I'm standing here, the only reason I told you all those stories, everything I did athletically, everything I did for an audience of one. I didn't care what was written, said, thought, talked about, prayed about. Everything I did was for an audience of one. You see, when you grow up in rural South Georgia, it's hard to find heroes, and I didn't want this person to look outside our own dinner table to find a role model. Well, since I only got about 2.5 minutes left, I'm going to do this thing the right way. As one half of the First Brothers selected to the Pro Football Hall.
They are the First Brothers.
You got to come up here and stand next to me, my man. You got to do it. You have to learn to follow before you can lead. When Papa died and you were crying your eyes out, I prayed to God, do not let me cry. I need to be strong for him. And God got me through that. And then a few years later, Daddy died. And you were crying your heart out. And I prayed to God, do not let me cry, because I got to be strong for him. And it's so wonderful to be able to experience love and appreciation from my family. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why I play football. This is why I got out of bed. It wasn't work. It was because of this right here.
That actually, here we go, Bert.
Before I leave you, I want to do two things.
Just beautiful. Ain't gonna lie.
The most precious gift I've ever received is the Super Bowl ring that I wear. And I don't have blood, sweat, and tears with my teammates like many of these gentlemen do. I wear this ring because of love. And you gave me this not knowing you were going to get another. And I prayed to God, please, oh God, let him get another one. God blessed him with 2. The second thing is, the last time I was here, you said that you were the only pro football player in the Hall of Fame that could say this, that you were the second best player in your own family. Well, I agree with that statement, but
yeah, get you.
It would be a extreme privilege. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have anything athletically about you, but it would be my extreme pleasure for you to be the only player in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with 2 gold jackets. You see, you have to learn to follow before you can lead. And the only reason I'm standing here is because when I read my Bible, it talks about Jesus and how he gave his life for us. When you love someone enough to give your life for, let me tell you what else you'll do, Summer Olivia. You'll love them to the point you'll live your life with them as well. I love you, Summer, like I love this guy standing next to me. Thank you very much for letting me take up 4 minutes and 58 seconds of your time.
That was not 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Oh man, that was honestly beautiful. Oh man, that actually pulled at my heartstrings a little bit, man. You saw Shannon balling out. I teared up a little bit. It made me a little bit emotional seeing the passionate speech Sterling gave, talking about God, talking about love, talking about his motivation for playing the sport, doing what he did. And then just, it was a beautiful Hall of Fame induction, beautiful Hall of Fame celebration. And I think right now in Shannon's life, it was very much needed with everything that's come out over the last few months about the first lawsuit, the second lawsuit that just came out. This right here was very wholesome, very beautiful, and it was great to hear Sterling's Hall of Fame speech and induction, and it motivates you and it empowers you to pursue your dreams and pursue your goals and not look too far for things that can motivate you to succeed in life. Yeah, guys, we'll be right back after these messages. Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops. All right, so let's rank the matches for WWE SummerSlam 2025 from worst to first. Now, if you haven't already, I dropped 2 videos where I ranked the matches basically right after the event. However, in this clip where I rank all of the matches together, I have reordered a couple because after sleeping on it, after really thinking about the matches that I saw, I just had to I had to reorder them. Not all of them, but just some of them. So let's start off with the worst match of SummerSlam, which was by far the Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross match, which in my honest opinion was underwhelming. The physicality that was promoted for that match in the promo between Sami and Karrion, it never delivered. It felt underwhelming. Sami obviously got the win, went over again, but he didn't go into the dark side like Karrion wanted, and ultimately Karrion lost, right? And the crowd's behind Karrion, which kind of sucks for him because now I think Kross is just going to become an obscure talent in the background who, by the fans' perspective after the match, it seemed like he was on his way out of WWE. And I don't blame him. They booked him really well during, I think, the pandemic and when he was in NXT. But ever since making the jump to the main roster, he just hasn't had the spark that he's needed, even though he has, I guess, the alluring presence in the background. I just don't think WWE really believes in him. The match was okay. The match itself was okay, but the stipulation that was supposed to be for the match just underdelivered. It underdelivered and it was underwhelming. Now I think Sami's going to be on his way to go and try to win the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. I think that's what the plan is, hopefully, because I honestly would love to see Sami win a world title at some point in his career. But yeah, that's why I have Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross ranked the worst match of SummerSlam. Now, the match that I have ranked 11th out of the 12-match card is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, because it was just, in my honest opinion, a standard technical regular steel cage match. There was nothing really that stood out to me about the steel cage match. The only thing that I guess was epic was Jacob Fatu's moonsault onto JC Mateo and Tala Tonga in the ring. Or no, Tonga Loa, my bad, not Tala Tonga. Tala Tonga's the big one, Hikelo. Their names get me fucking confused. But Tonga Loa inside the ring where Jacob hits that moonsault. Obviously we knew Solo, or at least I knew Solo was going to go over because his MFTs weren't going to let him lose. But it was just a standard match. It was physical. Both men looked good. Both men hit their spots. The only downside for me of that match, or the biggest downside of that match, was it wasn't as entertaining as I thought it would be. I thought I'd get a little bit more Jacob Fatu boogeyman like wiggles, and then thought I'd get a little bit more of the Solo Sikoa mockery, the yada da da mean. Yes, Solo is an incredible heel. He knows how to play that character very well. He's very entertaining. But I do still see him as the Bloodlines enforcer at times. He has the physique of it. He's a big man. So for him to not be physical against Jacob, or get to that level of physicality that I think Solo could get to with Jacob Fatu, and still have that level of mockery that we all love, where he would hit his Jacob Fatu's like the boogeyman like wiggle, right, or the yada yada mean in like a very aggressive tone. Like, I was looking for that in the match and I kind of didn't get it, which is part of the reason why I have it ranked as the 11th match of the night. Then the 10th match of the night would have to go to Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, where she retained her title. The zip tie was basically the nail in the coffin for me in that match. That basically we saw when Lyra got her hands free from the zip tie, then she tried to innovate by putting her hands back into the zip tie, but we could clearly see it wasn't the way that like her hands were originally tied up. Now when she went underneath the ring to get the zip tie adjusted, they tightened it too hard, and I don't think they cut like a portion of it so she could break it on the fire extinguisher. So she had to go back underneath the ring and then have somebody cut it for her. And that basically took away from that entire spot. Yes, we got to see Becky Lynch be very physical. I think the only reason why I have this match ranked higher than the Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu match was because of the amount of time that they were given for this match. Other than that, Bayley comes in for the save when it looks like Becky was going to come and just destroy Lyra Valkyria with the crowbar, and then ultimately Bayley cost Lyra the title. And since it was a no disqualification match, Becky going over fit in that scenario. And now Lyra is probably going to either go turn heel or go into a feud with Bayley. I'm curious to see how this feud turns out with them. But I just felt like the match was lacking. I really think this match would have been better if it was just a normal singles match between Becky and Lyra. The added stipulation, I also felt like for this match, it under-delivered. Both women, Becky Lynch is a great wrestler. Same with Lyra. She really does know how to perform. And when it was just a technical bout before they got all the like street fight aspects of the thing, of the battle or of the match like involved, it looked decent. But once they started adding props and gimmicks and all these other things, it took away from the match. And that's why I do have it ranked as low as I have this match ranked. I have it ranked 10th. The 9th best match of the night has to go to Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, where we got to see Logan and Drew both go over. Jelly Roll, very entertaining. I genuinely thought Jelly Roll died when Logan Paul dove off the top of the turnbuckle onto the announce table. And boy, Jelly Roll, all intents and purposes, that match was entertaining. It lived up to the level of physicality that I thought it was going to get to. I didn't think Jelly Roll was going to be this entertaining or this good, but he was fluid. The pacing for this match felt like it was on point. And honestly, the right tag team went over. The right tag team went over. Randy looks like $1 million. He looks fucking fit. I really hope WWE... I know Randy's past his prime. He shouldn't necessarily be in that main event scene anymore. But at some point, I would love to see him get a strap or him get like a championship run or something. He doesn't necessarily need it, but it'd be cool to kind of just see Randy with like a strap representing the company in a one-way shape or form. I know he's a vet. I know he's probably one of the locker room leaders. But anything you ask Randy to do, he always outperforms it, whether it be a baby face, whether it be a heel. I want to see Randy face off against Cody for the title and beat Cody for the title. That'd be fucking great. And then them having like a feud where they flip the strap back and forth a couple of times. That's just something that I'm kind of asking for. But no, Jelly Roll looked physical. When he got his opportunity to show his offense against Logan, he showed it. And that's why I have Randy and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul ranked as the 9th best match of the night. Now, a match that I was very genuinely surprised of, which is 8th, is Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill looked amazing. She hit all of her spots, and I could tell Tiffy was going to end up winning just because of the entrance and her facial expression when she was in the ring when Tiffy was coming out. Tiffy, you could see she was on. She felt the vibe. And Jade, you could see in her eyes she was a bit disappointed that she wasn't going to get the nod. But realistically, I think the reason why they didn't give Jade Cargill the nod was because of the match that she had at King of the Ring against Asuka, where clearly in that match, Asuka was carrying, in my honest opinion, Jade, and Jade botched a number of spots where in hindsight, I think that's where WWE kind of took a step back. Rather than looking at Jade like a Rhea Ripley, they looked at her like, okay, she still needs to develop her in-ring ability. She's not there. And the way this match was booked between Tiffy and Jade, they both looked amazing. Jade hit all of her spots. She looked fluid. The only thing that I'd call out would be when she hit her finisher. You could clearly see that Jade was the one that put Tiffy's foot on the rope. Other than that, it was a very fluid match. It was honestly a classic match where both women worked incredibly well together. I hope that they would have kept the title on Tiffany Stratton, because Tiffany has been a phenomenal champion, doing a great job representing the company, and has been incredible in the ring and on the mic. And it is Tiffy time. When she comes into the building, with no offense to Naomi, who we'll get to her match here in a bit, who is honestly doing a phenomenal job. Tiffany right now, I think, is the face of the women's is the number one face of the women's division in terms of champions right now. Then secondary, I would put it on Naomi. But it's not leaps and bounds. It's a close competition between the two. Tiffany right now being the longest reigning the longest reigning WWE champion is no small feat. And honestly, guys, buy all the stock into Tiffany, because she's going to be a future great one. The seventh best match of the night for me was Gunther versus CM Punk. I'm not going to lie, the match itself was a great technical bout between two wrestlers who are Hall of Famers, in my opinion, who are technical, sound, rough, brutal. Like, they're physical guys in that ring. That match was great. There were times where I caught myself being put to sleep because the pacing was slow and it was so technical. It wasn't very entertaining. But that just because it wasn't very entertaining to my style and my liking does not mean it was worse than the other matches that I kind of have listed here. By that point, I had seen basically the entire card. It was the last match, so I was a bit tired. And that's why I still have it ranked 7th, because even though I like a more physical, more high-paced, more offense, more big spots, those two executed everything that needed to be executed to the highest of levels. From beginning to end, Gunther and CM Punk gave us a performance that is by all intents and purposes going to go down as a SummerSlam classic. Punk getting the win clean over Gunther after busting him open. I think you could clearly see Gunther fell. He went under the table. He bladed to get all that blood and basically used that as an excuse to why he beat CM Punk, or to why he lost to CM Punk. Punk getting the first world heavyweight title win in, I think, 2009, in 16 years, made me feel like it was 2009 again. Gave me flashbacks where he beat Jeff. I'm not gonna lie. Jeff is my all-time favorite, by the way. But no, you just knew something was gonna happen, and I was calling it out. If you haven't, go check out the live stream that I did on night 1. That Seth was going to come back, and if he was injured, I thought Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were going to attack CM Punk, leave him pummeled, and then a hobbled Seth Rollins was going to come out and cash in the briefcase and take the title off CM Punk. So when when CM Punk was celebrating at the end and we weren't getting the final sequence with the logo and everything where it says executively produced by Paul Triple H Levesque or whatever, I just knew Seth was going to come back, because as long as Seth lives and breathes, CM Punk will not be a world heavyweight champion in the WWE. Even though he wasn't for long, and Rollins came back, and the biggest ruse of so far this century, because we all thought Seth was injured, he wasn't going to come back, but in my honest opinion, because the injury was so close to his Money in the Bank victory, I thought he still had enough time to basically be gone 6 to 9 months, come back and cash in the briefcase, and be on his phenomenal run. That wasn't the case. Seth was fine. comes in, looks phenomenal. The entire thing was basically a work at Saturday Night Main Event. Comes in, cashes in his Money in the Bank, and I'm incorporating all these aspects in together. This is why this match and segment is 7th, because that context is what puts it like what made the entire thing way better for me. Seth cashing in, phenomenal ending to SummerSlam Night 1. That is the 7th best match of the night, in my honest opinion, between Gunther and CM Punk, and then Seth Rollins cashing in. The 6th best match of the night was actually the opener for Night 1, which was Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Every single competitor in that match looked incredible. Braun took his spear through the barricade by Roman, and then Braun gave Roman his receipt in the ring. Basically, Roman pushing Jay out of the way and taking Braun Breaker's spear and selling it like a motherfucker, where it looked like he was broken in two. That was honestly a fun match. It started off slow, gradually ramped up. I felt like the crowd wasn't into it when Jay came out and did his Yeet intro, but by the end of it, everybody was feeling it, and Roman doing the job for Jay so Jay could go over. And it's very, I find it very interesting how Jay's actually been a part of the company a lot longer, but Roman has that position. Let's not forget Jay became a part of WWE, if I'm not mistaken, in like 2010, 2011. Roman didn't join until like 2014. So Roman, I think, has been there for 11 years. Jay's been there for 13, 14 years. And now Jay's getting the push, thanks to Roman, thanks to the efforts that he's done. I still think Jay needs to work on his promo skills. I kind of get tired of his 4 letters, 1 word, yeet, like promo constantly and just yelling at the mic, and then the run it back thing. I got tired of it. It's growing on me. I'm becoming a fan of it now, especially because it worked when they were inside. It worked at SummerSlam. It was just like, oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. I'm into it. All right, fuck it. I'm buying it. But yeah, the aspects of that match, the opener, and how it basically set up the entire night. Main reason why I have it ranked as the sixth best match of the entire SummerSlam card. The 5th best match has to go to Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley, where Naomi retains her title. Naomi hit everything. She looked amazing. She got an intro with her father, which was iconic. I'll be completely honest with you. I was not a fan of Naomi getting the title back, or I wasn't really a believer of her actually being able to carry this company, or carry the company with the belt on her shoulders. And the match between Io and Rhea, incredible. She looked like $1,000,000 when she was dominating the match earlier on. Then when she went out of the ring and had to come in, and actually it was a triple threat where all 3 ladies were combating each other, she hit every single thing that she was supposed to hit. The match felt fluid. The match felt fluid. As the heel, she picked her spots correctly. Obviously, it was a match of 3 different styles clashing. Io Sky's aerial ability, by far incredible and amazing performer, and then Rhea Ripley's physicality, being the one that we all expect to go over, and then the ending sequence where we just see Naomi come in, grab the tights, get the 1, 2, 3, and Rhea's complaining, oh, she grabbed the tights, but it's a triple threat match. It's a no disqualifications type of match. So just the entire storyline and how Naomi looked, I am now a believer of Naomi. I think she is going to do an incredible job as the women's world champion. And yeah, I'm excited to see who she gets next. I ultimately think she drops the belt to Jade Cargill at WrestleMania, and that's where this story is kind of heading towards, because they do have a history between the two, and that's why I'm kind of happy that WWE didn't put the title, take it off Tiffany and put it on Jade. I'm excited to see the match between Jade and Naomi, and Jade ultimately getting her win back against Naomi at WrestleMania, or maybe But that's also on Jade if she's able to consistently perform to the level that she performed at in SummerSlam. Or maybe it's Naomi that goes over if Jade can't, if WWE still feels like Jade is not at that level yet. So I'm excited. Naomi, great performer. Rhea, you guys know she's a top dog. Io Sky, everybody can work with Io. Fifth best match of the night, in my honest opinion. Now, my favorite match of night one and the fourth best match of the night, or of the entire card, in my honest opinion, is the Raquel Rodriguez versus Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. The pacing of that match was perfect. They didn't miss any spots. All four women worked very well together. It was a very fluid match with a lot of action sequences, and that's why I liked it. I was entertained from beginning to end when all four of them were competing against each other, and then the ending sequence where Alexa tries to come in to save Charlotte, but ultimately ends up hitting Charlotte so Roxanne and Raquel can hit their finisher on Charlotte after Roxanne throws Alexa out, and then Alexa comes in, gets the save, drags Charlotte to the corner, tags herself in, fucking puts her offense on, throws Raquel Rodriguez basically out, puts her offense on Roxanne Perez, and then goes for Sister Abigail, and then we see Charlotte in the corner, and it looks like she's going to turn on Alexa, but then she hits Raquel Rodriguez, and then they win the women's title. I would have been okay with either Raquel Rodriguez or and Roxanne Perez retaining, but they ultimately put the titles on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and either one of those two teams would have walked out deserving in my eyes, because that match was, in my honest opinion, the best match of SummerSlam match night one, and all four women put on an incredible performance. I really enjoyed it, and that's why I have it ranked fourth. Now, it's ranked, even though it was the best match of night one, there were three other matches that honestly dominated the entire SummerSlam card. And that third match would have to be Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles, where Dominic retains his title. And guys, it was just an entire love letter to Eddie. AJ comes out in his Eddie Guerrero ring attire. They were in a lowrider with it going up and down. And we even had AJ's son dress up like Dom, even dye his hair fucking blonde and do the shimmy and come out with AJ. I thought that was fucking hilarious. And then we had Dominic. Now, if you guys didn't notice, Dominic had a blue ring attire that kind of mimicked Ray's ring attire from like 20 years ago, when I think Eddie and Ray had a match against each other. And guys, it was just a giant love letter to Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. Chavo, I hope Chavo was okay with it, because I know Chavo was very sensitive about about WWE doing stuff with Eddie and not necessarily clearing it with them. But I loved it. The spots were incredible. I wanted Dominic to win. Dominic as El Sucio, Dominic Mysterio. He is over like a motherfucker. I don't know if he's gonna get booed anymore. I'm gonna watch Raw here. I'm gonna watch Monday Night Raw, and I'm gonna see if he gets booed when they give him the mic. But I think he's over now. I think he's slowly turning into a baby. He won the SummerSlam match against AJ Styles without the Judgment Day. He won it using his lying, cheating, stealing abilities like he always does. No, but like honestly, like the boot spot, just the chair spot. Like if it was Dominic, the 619 sweep on AJ Styles. It's just Dominic is getting to another level. I understand he's supposed to be a heel. He's supposed to be El Sucio, but El Sucio is getting over as a babyface, kind of like an anti-hero, kind of like Seth Rollins, where I think at Triple Mania they're gonna put the title on Dominic, and he's gonna be a two belt champ. He's going to be the Intercontinental Champion and the Triple Mania Champion. And that actually makes sense if he's the Intercontinental and the AAA Champion. Because what's it called? Intercontinental, Mexico, AAA. Get it? Now, AJ Styles, I think, needs to go and compete against Trick Williams for the TNA World Heavyweight title. That is what I want to see. That is what I'm excited for. And yeah, that I'm honestly excited for. I'm honestly excited to see where both men go. That match was a classic in my eyes, and people should go back and watch that masterpiece, because that really in my eyes was a masterpiece. Now, the second best match of the night was the WWE Tag Team Title 6-pack TLC match. Guys, that match slowly started off with some minor physicality, some basic ladder spots, some basic chair spots, and then they got to the table spots. And no offense, Street Profits, y'all's ain't the Dudleys. That shit annoyed me because it was so flat when they said get the tables. Like, nobody fucking popped. If you want somebody to get, if you wanted to do that spot, you go to Bubba and you go to Devon and they hit you on the chest and they tell you get the tables, and that's how you get that pop. But then they cut to the Dudleys trying to get the tables pop. Nobody fucking, like, God bless you, Bubba. Other than that, the spots were fucking crazy. I love the table spot where everybody basically went through a table, and then Axiom hitting that. I don't know what the move is called, but basically hitting a move on D'Angelo Dawkins through a table off the top rope. Fucking incredible. Candice LeRae going through a ladder. I thought she was dead, but luckily she hit where she was supposed to hit on the ladder, where it kind of just collapsed, and she was okay ultimately. DIY fucking class. It was just a classic match through and through. Very entertaining. But for me, it was the second best match of the night. It paid homage to the TLC match from like 20 years ago between Edge, the Dudleys, and the Hardys. Oh, Edge and Christian, my bad. Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardys. And I've always been a die-hard Hardy supporter. I love the Hardys. I think they should have won more titles, in my honest opinion. That's just how over I am of a Hardy fan. But no, that match was incredible, and it honestly stole the show. It stole the show in a lot of aspects, but it didn't steal the show to the extent that the number one match of the night was this promoted match right here. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, where it was a street fight. It fit. We got babyface John coming down the ring, running into the ring, performing to the best level that we've seen John Cena perform in the last, I want to say in the last, like, when did he become part-time? Was it 10 years ago? I think in like the last 5 to 10 years, this is like the best John Cena we have seen. It was a classic, brutal, physical match. Cody taking AAs all over the place. John Cena taking fucking crossroads everywhere. Literally, Super Cena met Super Rhodes in a passing of the torch match where, like, it was beautiful how they didn't turn Cody, and because it was a street fight, everything Cody did was within the parameters of the match, where Cody remained a babyface even at the end. That embrace between the two gentlemen was incredible. Cena still has it. I loved it. I was hoping Cena was going to win, and there were so many false finishes in that match that I was just like, oh my God, who are they actually going to like put this, like end up winning? Ultimately, it was Cody that came out as a champion, and the embrace at the end. It was honestly, it was a fucking classic. It was a classic, both like just going all over the arena. Guardrails. Nothing was safe. Everything was basically utilized. The pacing was good. Yeah, wow. Cody going through like the fucking announce table on the ramp, going, dude, that match was actually wow. Like, now that I even think about it even more now, that match, it was great. it was just I can't reiterate how great it was. And then the return of the Beast Incarnate. Safe to say now why WWE is no longer doing press conferences, because Triple H does not want to answer any questions in regards to Brock Lesnar returning to the company. Because if he does, then it's all fucked up, right? That's just my honest opinion. That's why they're doing the post show the way that they're doing now. But Brock coming back, everybody was fucking surprised. I was fucking genuinely surprised, because when I heard his music hit, I was like, it's no way. And then you saw the name Brock Lesnar, and you're like, he is here, and comes out. F5 John Cena, shades of 2015, or was it 2015? No, 2012. I think it was 2012 when he came back. Shades of 2012. I'm excited to see these guys run it back one more time. Suplex City meets the Fruity Pebbles boy, right? But no, it was ultimately a great ending to night 2. Night 1 and night 2. This SummerSlam was honestly, in my opinion, one of the great ones, at least from the last 10 years. Through and through, I really enjoyed it, and that is my ranking for all the matches for WWE SummerSlam 2025, Night 1 and Night 2. Yeah, thanks, guys. Guys, have you heard? Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Guys, thank you for watching the latest episode of Unwin from the End Zone with your favorite host, King NPV. You know that's me, baby. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Also, don't forget to share this with your friends, families, neighbors, cats, dogs, whoever you want. Make some money with my sports picks, listen to my sports takes, or just watch for some positivity. Always remember, desire is power. If you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching this episode. I'll see you next time.